Hi, I'm Hillsborough County Commissioner Sandy Merman. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you how important it is to take time to prepare and make a plan for hurricane season.
I'm Tim Dudley, your emergency manager. We've learned many valuable lessons over the years and want everyone to be as prepared as possible this storm season.
In these uncertain times, it's more important than ever to have a plan and be prepared. COVID-19 has shown us that coming together as a community and being resilient is key.
Our team is working hard to keep Hillsborough County ready for any disaster and to provide our residents with resources in case of a hurricane.
To make sure you're ready this year, the first thing you need to do is to sign up for HCFL Alert. You'll receive current emergency information by phone or email.
Next, make a plan with your loved ones. Knowing your evacuation zone and evacuation route is crucial. If you have to evacuate, consider reaching out to friends and families that live outside the evacuation zone to see if they can host you.
If staying with friends or family isn't an option, you can always consider hotels or motels outside of the evacuation zones.
That's right, Hillsborough County emergency shelters are lifeboats, not cruise ships. They should be considered a last resort to keep your family safe.
If Hillsborough County emergency shelters are your only option to evacuate, come prepared. You'll need some additional items this year, including face masks, gloves, hand sanitizers, and other personal items.
At Hillsborough County emergency shelters, you should be prepared to practice social distancing and come with your emergency kit and the items your family needs. Remember, shelters are not a resort. Their last resort. They won't offer any amenities and resources may be limited.
During storm season, you should also keep your gas tank full and keep your emergency kit close at hand.
Make sure to check supplies in that kit, including medication, radio, flashlights, and batteries.
And as we mentioned, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, please include face masks or coverings, hand sanitizers, and gloves.
I want to echo what Commissioner Merman just said. These additions are essential for your health and that of others, especially if you need to go to a county shelter.
In addition, do not forget to pre-register loved ones who require special needs accommodations. Hillsborough has programs in place to help those individuals prepare and find safe shelter.
And don't forget about our furry friends. You'll need food, a pet carrier, proof of current vaccination, and your animal's county registration tag.
Have a plan, know your plan. For more information, please visit hcflgov.net/stay safe. Thank you.
This is a battle we've never faced in my lifetime. I want to tell you about 416 of the most amazing people. Every day I get to see their skill, professionalism, and dedication. Their commitment to protect and improve the health of everyone in Hillsborough County. The last 2 months, they've been on the front line of a battle with a very dangerous enemy, COVID-19. And they've risen to the challenge in the most amazing, heroic way. Everyone has contributed, sacrificing their personal life, which they put on hold. They're making a difference for everyone they help, and every day I get stopped and told just how amazing they are. I'm proud and blessed to work with them, my second family.
Hillsborough County, along with local and federal health experts, are encouraging residents to wear cloth face masks to cover their nose and mouth when in public to help stop the spread of COVID-19. There are not enough surgical face masks for everyone, and available ones should go to healthcare workers and first responders. It's easy to make your own face mask out of common household items. The CDC and U.S. Surgeon General say you can use an old scarf, bandana, or make one using a t-shirt plus 2 rubber bands. Cut part of the t-shirt into a square, fold it from the bottom to the middle, then from the middle to the top. Repeat those steps one more time Then add a rubber band to each side. Bring each end to the middle, then secure around your face. They should fit snugly but comfortably. Cloth face coverings should not be placed on children younger than 2 years of age or people who have trouble breathing. The CDC emphasizes that while wearing a face mask, you should still practice social distancing, stay 6 feet apart from others, and continue other preventative measures such as frequent hand washing. We encourage you to visit hcflgov.net/stay-safe for up-to-date information.
Is your local business or organization looking to give back to the community? Help keep our roads clean by joining the Adopt a Road program administered by Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful. Keeping our roads clean is a great way for team building as well as exposure for your business. Select the road your business wants to adopt and dispatch a team to remove litter and debris. Participants will receive 2 signs showing their organization's name as well as safety equipment and instructions for cleaning roads. You can help keep Tampa Bay beautiful by adopting your own road today. To learn more, visit hcflgov.net/cleanhc.
Hello, I'm WWE superstar Titus O'Neil, and today I'm coming to you as a neighbor. You owe it to yourself and those you love to get tested now. Get the care you need and protect your family. Hillsborough County is offering free coronavirus testing and no health insurance is needed. It costs you nothing to get tested. Visit hcflgov.net/stay-safe for more information and have a reservation made today. Share this with a neighbor, and let's come together as a community and keep fighting to get through this. Together, we will come back stronger. God bless.
So let's say that Tim here was returning to his vehicle only to find it missing. He may think it was either stolen or towed. Let's not worry too much, Tim. Hillsborough County wants you to know the rules and regulations should you find yourself stuck in this unfortunate situation. Here are a few rules and tips you should know. Rule number 1, permission to tow. Towing services need permission to tow from private property and must post signs with telephone numbers saying that the trespassing vehicles will be removed. If your vehicle is missing, look for a sign and call the number. Rule number 2, communication. As soon as your vehicle is delivered to the local towing facility, towing services must notify local law enforcement within a 30-minute time frame, and they must return calls from vehicle owners within 1 hour. Helpful tip number 1. Law enforcement can help motorists determine if their vehicle has been towed. If you don't see a posted sign, call the authorities on the non-emergency line. Rule number 3. Retrieving your vehicle during a tow. Most people are unaware that you could still retrieve your vehicle while connected to the tow truck. For a drop fee of no more than half the towing rate, the tow truck operator must release the vehicle to its owner. When it comes to payment, tow truck drivers must accept the following: debit, cash, cashier's check, or money order. Rule number 4, personal property. If the owner is unable to pay the drop fee and their vehicle is in the hands of the towing company, owners still have the right to retrieve personal property from their vehicle. Helpful tip number 2. Having a registration and title in your name will make it easier to recover your vehicle. Tow companies will not hand over the vehicle if you are not the registered owner, unless you have an original notarized affidavit signed by the registered vehicle owner. Remember, Hillsborough County is here to help you. For complete detailed information on towing rules and regulations, please visit us at hcflgov.net/consumer protection or give us a call at 813-635-8316.
Hillsborough County has opened a majority of its conservation parks, trails, and nature preserves to give residents additional options for recreation and exercise. While parks can provide an escape and excitement, county leaders are urging residents to take precautions to protect themselves. To help stop the spread of COVID-19 while in public places, use common sense. Stay home and avoid parks if you're feeling sick. Practice social distancing. Avoid groups or gatherings larger than 10 and stay at least 6 feet from others while exercising. In addition to social distancing, Hillsborough County leaders continue to urge residents to wear cloth face coverings when in community settings. Bring your own water. Though parks are opening, many amenities will remain closed. Prepare for your visit by packing necessary items like hand sanitizer, and it's a good idea to bring your own disinfectant wipes to wipe down any public surfaces before touching or when touching public equipment. But remember, don't flush them after using. Residents who do not abide by the social distancing requirements or listen to instructions from county staff while enjoying the parks will be asked to leave the property. We encourage you to visit hcflgov.net/stay safe for up-to-date information. Hillsborough County has teamed up with the Department of Health and other public health and safety agencies to address any impacts the virus may have on our local community. To help prevent the spread of the coronavirus, here are a few tips you should know. Practice proper hand washing by using soap and water and wash for at least 20 seconds. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer if you cannot wash. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Cough and sneeze into a tissue and throw it away. Clean, high-touch surfaces frequently. Some examples include doorknobs, credit and debit cards, cell phones, keyboard and mouse devices, and toilet handles. Stay home if you're feeling ill. If you have any flu-like symptoms, avoid contact with the public. Avoid sharing personal items in spaces with those close to you. Seek medical care early if you're feeling sick. Symptoms of the coronavirus can include fever, coughing, and shortness of breath. Seek medical care if you develop these symptoms or if you've been traveling or have been in close contact with a person who has traveled from an area with an ongoing spread of COVID-19. We encourage you to visit hcflgov.net/stay safe for up-to-date information and tips.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hillsborough County Code Enforcement Board hearing. When addressing the board, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. Any person who has decided to appeal the decision of the Code Enforcement Board with respect to the matter considered at this meeting will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purposes may need to issue that a verbatim record of the proceedings be made, which record includes testimony, evidence upon which your appeal is based. Petitioners by the county respondent or respondents and opposition must be kept to a maximum of 10 minutes each. The board may the board may recess at 12:30, reconvene at 1:30 for the conclusion of the meeting. We are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know if you guys can get this in there or not. There is a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Okay, thank you. All right. Next, whoever is going to give our new member their oath, if they would go ahead and do the oath.
Good morning. Mr. Ubania, if you can please raise your right hand. I, and then you will state your name.
I, Mark Urbaniak,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
and that I am duly qualified
and I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of the Code Enforcement Board,
of the Code Enforcement Board,
which I am now about to enter.
which I am now about to enter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I now call the meeting of the Code Enforcement Board to order. Welcome to the Hillsborough County Code Enforcement Board. When addressing the board, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. If you're planning to speak during the hearing, you must be signed in. Presentations by county respondents must be kept to a maximum of 10 minutes. The basic procedure of the hearing is as followed. Your case will be announced. Ms. Meyer will conduct the oath of witness. Staff will present their evidence on your case. You will be allowed to rebut the evidence and explain what occurred. I will close the hearing. The board will deliberate, make a motion, vote, and then I will announce the decision. The board may ask questions and allow other witness testimony if necessary. If the board issues an order, you're to comply with it. Your responsibility to call and leave a message requesting an inspection to confirm compliance. Copies of the numbers provided. If you fail to call for an inspection, the inspector found you've not complied, you will receive a notice by mail. By law, you have 10 days to contest the finding of non-compliance. Otherwise, it will be considered correct and a lien may be placed on your property. If you have any questions, these rules are outlined in Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Laws, Chapter 14, Article 2, Section 14. Any person who decides to appeal the decision of the Code Board will need a recording of the proceeding. The record is comprised of testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is based. It is your responsibility to ensure a verbatim record of which the appeal of proceeding is made. By law, you have 30 days from the date of the order to appeal the board's decision. And if you would, silence your phones, please. Ms. Meyer.
Good morning. I believe the secretary needs to do a roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Bordenaro,
Here.
Bolin,
Here.
Clayton,
Here.
Fitzpatrick, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Here.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Fitzpatrick is not here today.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lorenzen,
Present.
please excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong. Mr. Ubania,
Here.
Ms. Wright.
Ms. Wright is not here.
Okay, you have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
All county staff who will be testifying must take the oath of witness. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated. First case will be on the last page of your agenda, page 11, number 22, case number CE 2000-4879. The owner is Mary Goldstein and Edward Zwack. Location 8111 East 19th Avenue. We have service, and Mr. Zwack is here in the audience. If you'll come forward, sir. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, and state your name and address.
Edward Zwack, 811 East 19th Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33619.
Thank you. And I believe Mr. Rowan will do his presentation first.
Okay, Mr. Rowan.
Good morning, Paul Rowan with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I first visited this case originated on, I apologize, back on April 8th of this year. Researching the property, it's zoned RSC6 and is homesteaded. The owner does live on the property. It is not in foreclosure. The property has 2 previous cases within the last 5 years, but has not been seen at the code board before. I originally cited for accumulations. Inoperable vehicles has been complied. Outside open storage due to a bunch of material related to his business being stored on the property, plus a 40-foot cargo container. I've had several discussions with Mr. Zwack about the situation. He is supposedly working with development services to obtain either permitting or permission to have the 40-foot container, which is where he's going to plan on putting all this stuff. He sent me a photo yesterday, actually, of the garage has been completely cleaned out. I wasn't really concerned about the exercise equipment, as I was more concerned with the construction materials that he was storing on the inside. He was supposed to send me the email, the person he's working with development services yesterday, but something must have occurred. I didn't get it. I'm trying to make contact with development services to see if he is actually pursuing some type of permission or variance or something along those lines. So the case could have been put in pending status while he pursues that. Right now, we don't have that. I don't have any proof of that. That's why we're here. There are no life safety issues.
Okay.
Mr. Zwack, do you recognize the property in the photos that have been shown as
I'm
your
having a hard
property?
time understanding you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Do you recognize the property in the photos that were shown
Yes.
as your property? Thank you.
Okay, sir, it's your turn.
At a disadvantage as far as the stuff around the container and whatnot. I didn't think that was an issue. I thought I was here for my carport and the container box. As far as the stuff in the backyard, I guess I need to address that.
Okay. How long do you think it'll take you to address that?
I'm at a disadvantage. I thought everything was done from the front street. The pictures he's showing is from a street 1 block over from the rear. It happens to be a vacant lot. So what he did was he went 1 block over and took pictures of my backyard. And that street is an industrial street. There's no residence. Well, there's 1 residence on it. Otherwise, it's all industry.
Okay. You did not really answer my question as to how long do you think it's going to take you to get that cleaned up?
Give me 30 days. I'll have it cleaned up.
Okay. Now you have been to developmental services.
When you say I've been to developmental services, I've been to the county building and I submitted a site plan, a survey, engineering. I talked to Steve Kalaga. I talked to all the stuff I submitted was to Steve Kalaga. And then Lori and zoning got involved and I had to submit her a site plan and engineering.
All right, and you're telling this board that all of that is done?
I'm telling this board that all of that is done.
Okay. Board members, any questions? All right, somebody make a motion.
I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. I'll make a motion. I move in case number C 2004-879. That based on evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of violation actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 45 days to come in compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
Okay, I missed the fine. It cut out.
Yeah, $250 per day be assessed.
Hey, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
That's Ms. Clayton?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sir, you have 45 days to clean that up.
That was 20 days.
You're done.
Okay, I
And
can
that's
leave?
it. Thank you. Have a
Enjoy
good
your
day.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Go back to page 1, number 2, case number CE 2000-2074. The owner is Sean Floyd. Location 18562 Kingbird Drive. We have service, and Mr. Floyd is online today. Can you hear us, Mr. Floyd? The online sheet, is he online?
I don't see him online.
Skip this one.
Yeah, go ahead and skip it.
Okay. We'll skip that one and get back to it. On page 2, number 4, CE 2001-0853. The owner is CA Properties Incorporated. The violator is County Line Produce Lutz. Location 206 Newburger Road. We have service. And we have someone online to testify? Michelle Gilbert.
We're working with Michelle Gilbert right now to get her online. She's also having slight issues.
Okay.
Try another one.
Next case is on page 4, number 7, CE 2000-3408. The owner is the estate of Sharon M. Werner, location 8303 Palma Vista Lane. We have service. And I have Jeffrey Smick signed in to be online.
Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
I'm here.
Hang
Hi,
on.
this is attorney Michelle Gilbert calling, representing County Line Produce.
Gilbert, we didn't have you, so I moved on to the next case. I will come back to you right after this one.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Apologize. Okay, Mr. Smick, can we get Mr. Smick?
Hello.
Raise your right hand where I can see it. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name and address.
Jeffrey R. Smick, 8303 Palma Vista Lane, Tampa, Florida.
What are you representing? The owner here, or?
Well, apparently I am. She passed away. I'm her widower. The case is still in probate.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know how you were related to this case.
Yes.
John Carrion, Code Enforcement Officer John Carrion will be testifying. Number 7. Mr. Swick, do you see the property in the photo that's on the screen now?
Yes, my name is Smick, S-M-I-C-K.
That's what I said. I just want to make sure you recognize that property.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Officer, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is John Carrion, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. May it please this hearing. The property in question is located at 8303 Palma Vista Lane, Tampa, Florida, 33614. The property is under an estate of Werner Sharon M. Estate of, and is occupied by the respondent. The property is not in foreclosure. The property was first inspected March 12th, 2020. The initial inspection revealed 5 violations, which consisted of overgrowth, nuisance conditions, inoperable vehicles, electrical wiring, and roofs and parts thereof. This case was referred for CEB hearing April 2nd, 2020. I performed a pre-hearing inspection on August 11th, 2020. Photographs were taken at that time for this hearing. Per request from owner, a final site visit was performed August 25th, 2020, which revealed that a screen had been provided for the missing soffits, the lawn was mowed, and the missing siding had been reinstalled.
Mr. Smick, do you have any testimony at this point?
No.
Okay. So what we're dealing with now is improper vehicles and the roof?
So per the last site visit, the only thing left in non-compliance is inoperable vehicles. The property owner had complied with roofs and parts thereof. The nuisance conditions and the overgrowth after the pre-hearing inspection. I was there on the 25th per request from owner.
Okay, for some reason I have lost the sound.
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. All right, so the respondent did not wish to testify.
Can you repeat that?
Is the respondent going to testify?
I'm not sure what I.
I asked him for his testimony and he said he didn't have any. He is online listening, but he did not have any testimony.
Okay, board.
Question to the investigator. What inoperable vehicles are still on the property?
So the vehicle in question is the Chevy Malibu. It's got a flat tire and it's been in the same location since my initial inspection, just as the image is showing. And in addition to that, also per confirmation from respondent.
Okay. All right. Is the respondent at the microphone?
Yes, I'm right here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say other than I just need a little bit more time to get the tire replaced and then we're good to go.
Okay. How much time do you need, sir?
Just a few days. If you gave me 30 days, that would be more than enough by far.
Okay. Board members, anybody have any questions? Any other questions?
Is the registration on the vehicle current?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'm happy to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I move in case CE. That's some interference here. Everybody hear me?
Yep.
I move in case CE 2003408 that based on the evidence presented, I find this property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes and ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 30 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $100 per day be assessed.
Do I have a second?
Second to motion.
And that was Ms. Boyd. Who seconded the motion?
I think it was Ms. Boyd.
Okay, that's
Boyd.
fine. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, sir, you have your 30 days.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry, Mr. Boland, or Mr. Bordenaro, who was the second?
Sure.
Ms. Boyd was the second.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case is back on
Yes.
page 1, number 2. Mr. Floyd is in the audience now, and you can come up, sir. Case number CE 2000-2074. The owner is Sean Floyd. Location 18562 Kingbird Drive. We have service, and Mr. Floyd is here. Good morning, sir. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the
Yes.
whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And state your name and address.
Sean Floyd, with a W. Address is 18562 Kingbird Drive, Lutz, Florida, 33558.
Thank you.
Code Enforcement Officer Raquel Andujar. The property at 18562 Kingbird was first inspected February 18, 2020. Contact was made with the owner August 24. The last inspection was August 24. No contact was received on this property at all until recently. And once I made contact with the owner, he has kept communication and he has indicated he's made some progress. The violation is for dilapidated fence and accumulation of the fence materials that are actually behind the dilapidated fence that you see in this picture. I'll let the owner.
I'm not seeing the
Sir,
picture.
do you recognize the property in the photos that are being shown?
Yes, ma'am. She
Thank
is
you.
correct.
Thank you.
Seeing any pictures? There we go. Okay. All right, sir, how much time do you need?
I happen to be in progress of I guess you would say securing a new fence. And then I just read the citation incorrectly. So I had just the day before yesterday had the debris on the side of the house taken off, but I didn't read it correctly. So I'm taking the fence down as we speak. So I have a contractor going there today at 2. So as long as they show up, I should be good.
How long should you be good? This keeps cutting in and out.
All right. Now give me 30 days. Can I have 30 days, please?
Okay, board members, do you have any questions? Okay, for the code enforcement, is there any safety issues here?
Oh, there isn't.
Okay. All right, members of the board, if somebody'd like to make a motion, please. Go ahead, Ms. Boyd.
I move in the case of CE 20002074 that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 30 days to come into compliance. And if compliance has not been achieved, I find an amount of $100 per day be assessed.
I second Ms. Boyd's motion.
Who is that seconding?
Lorenzen.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, sir, you have your 30 days.
Thank you.
Okay, next case, please.
Okay. Next case is on page 2, number 4, case number CE 200-10853. The owner is CA Properties Incorporated. The violator is County Line Produce Lutz. Location 206 Newburger Road. And we have service. And I understand Michelle Gilbert is on the phone at this point. She was not able to get on virtually. Is that correct?
Michelle is on the phone. Or no, she's,
I'm on.
the meeting, yes.
Right. I don't know if you can hear me.
She's on?
Yes, stand by.
Can you hear me? Okay,
hear
thank
me?
you. I can hear you.
Oh, there you're actually online now. Thank you.
Yes.
Are you an attorney representing the owner?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Would you state?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. I
name and address
represent
for
the tenant.
Please.
I represent the tenant, County Line Produce.
Okay, thank you. And could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Michelle Gilbert, 2313 West Violet Street, Tampa, 33603.
Thank you. And we have Ron Anderson in person. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address for the record.
Ron Anderson, 2004 Clement Road, Lutz, Florida, 33549.
And you're here representing the owner, CA Properties, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what capacity are you representing?
I'm the official agent.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Officer Rick Garcia. I'm here in the case of CE 2001-0853. The property in question is 2006 Newburger Road, Lutz, Florida. The property is owned by CA Properties Incorporated, and the violator is County Line Produce, and the proprietor is Melissa Canals. The property is not in foreclosure. It was first inspected on June 5th, 2020. At that time, violations identified were improper use of zone. The property is zoned ASC1, and they're operating as essentially a retail business slash grocery store, as opposed to what's allowed for a produce stand. They're also holding food truck rallies, special events on different weekends of the month. They continue to operate in this capacity and continue to hold events. They originally purchased the property and were under the belief that these activities were permitted because of the building had been there previously and used for a similar purpose. I've been in constant contact with the proprietor, with the property owner agent, and with the attorney representing the property produce stand. I conducted my final inspection on 17/2020. Photographs were taken by myself and other code enforcement inspectors during the course of this investigation.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson, do you recognize the photos that are being shown as property in question? Do you recognize the?
It looks to be like stuff that the
Okay.
tenant would be selling, I would
Can
think.
you go back to a picture of the property? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
that's the building that is the right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
You may testify now, and the attorney also.
I would think the attorney would probably want to do
Okay.
most of the speaking.
Ms. Gil?
Yes, thank you. Again, to clarify, we represent the tenant who's leasing the property. And the terms of the lease were that the use would be permitted. The use as a retail store, the food truck, and then later when our client received notice of the violation in June, they retained us. There was supposed to be a meeting in July with the board, and that was canceled due to COVID-19. And so here we are today. So again, the tenant leases with the representation that the property could be used for the use they're doing of it right now. They know they're not to continue operating. They are requesting additional time to work with the owner, who's represented today, to bring the property into compliance. So we are looking for an additional 30 days. And again, the tenant is at the mercy of the owner to bring the property into compliance.
Okay. Are we going to hear from the owner?
Yes. Actually, I was under the impression that the tenant was hiring the attorney to see about getting a zoning variance so that they can operate evidently outside the guidelines of the lease that I currently have with them. They lease the property to grow produce. And I have a copy of the current lease, and it says use of the premise is to grow produce, vegetables, and fruit and sell them. Doesn't say anything about all the other things that they're trying to sell that are in relation to a grocery store. So if they want to do that, they need to get a variance on the zoning. And I told them that I'd be very cooperative to help them with any type of whatever they had to do to satisfy the zoning regulations so that they could operate and even operate outside the guidelines of the lease, you know? So I'm trying to be, very, to work with them and help them. And, but there again, the lease clearly states that they can't cause me, to have zoning violations and not be responsible. They're responsible. So I just want them to fix the problem, do whatever we got to do to solve the problem.
Okay. Counselor, have you read the lease? I don't have a copy of it, of course.
Copy of it, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I think I'm in court. Yes, the lease did include use as a grocery store. So again, it's great to hear that the owner will be cooperative. We actually have an application for conditional use that we are preparing and should be submitted within a couple of weeks. But again, I think even in the owner's comments, there's an admission of types that he knew the use of the property, and that was contained within the lease. So again, our position is that now being aware of this problem where it was misrepresented at the time of leasing, we certainly want to comply and apply appropriately for conditional use, and, you know, do what we need to do to work with that owner. But again, being very clear that at the beginning of the lease, it was leased, understanding how my client wanted to use the premises, and the reassurances were made that that would be fine. So there's a backstory to this.
Okay, how long do you think it's going to take you?
I mean, 30 days, we will have our application, conditional use application in within 30 days or less. I do know that there is allowed 30 business days on your side to process and review that. So, and things, of course, are taking, you know, longer to process. So at least on our side, a minimum of 30 days would be appreciated.
Okay. Any of the board members have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Why isn't the property owner cited instead of the tenant?
They are both cited on this case.
Oh, they're both cited. Okay, okay. And they're both going to cooperate to solve the problem, so I'm prepared to make a motion.
All right, if we have no other questions, go ahead, Mr. Bowen.
All right, I move in case number C 200108553. That based on evidence presented, I find that property is in violation of the Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of violation actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 45 days to come in compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
Second.
And that was a second by who?
Clayton.
Ms. Clayton, thank you. All in favor?
Discussion, please.
Wait a minute. Discussion, go ahead.
I'm just concerned overall on the timeline, Mr. Boland. If they're almost 30 days for them just to, if it's almost 30 days for them to put in their application and then go through our process, knowing what where we are in the state, I'm thinking 60 days. At 45 days, I have a feeling like we're just going to be out there and making a re-inspection and putting this back on the list. So would you consider?
I'm good with moving it 60 days based on the current situation of everything.
Okay, fantastic. If you're okay with amending that, I'm okay with that.
And
I'll amend it to 60 days.
Okay.
Ms. Clayton, you still all right to?
Second, yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, we have to have another vote. Opposed? If no one's opposed, you have 60 days. Next case, please.
Thank you very much.
If the parties would
Mr.
stay, there's another
Fornaro?
case on the same situation. However, the recording secretary is going to cut in and take care of some business.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Bordenaro, I do apologize. Apparently on the roll call, we did miss calling Ms. Boyd for the roll call, so I do apologize for that. So if she can just state for the record that she is present, and we'll go ahead and get that corrected on our paperwork side.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Boyd, if you can say that you are here, please, for the record.
I am present.
Thank you. And again, I do apologize for us missing calling you on the attendance.
No problem.
Okay, the next case is on page 3, number 5, case number CE 200100859. The owner is CA Properties Incorporated, location 19323 North US Highway 41. We have service, and the same parties are here for this case that were on the other case, the previous case. Would you state your name and address again for the record, sir, for this case?
Yes, ma'am. It's Ron Anderson, 2004 Clement Road, Lutz, Florida, 33549.
Ms. Gilbert, are you still with us? Gilbert for this one. Actually, only the owner is cited on this case and not the violator.
I would think she would want to be here. The tenant is the responsible party that has caused the violation. And in the lease, you know, they're ultimately responsible. And I wrote them a letter and told them you have to get permits. And I sent Mr. Garcia a copy of the letter. I mean, I'm trying to be completely in compliance.
I'll clarify that when I'm my turn to speak.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mr. Garcia.
All right. Code Officer Rick Garcia. The case in question is CE 200100859. The property in question is located at 19323 North US Highway 41, Lutz, Florida. It's owned by CA Properties Incorporated. It is not a foreclosure. The property was first inspected on June 13th, 2020. This property is directly south of the previous violation at 2006 or 206 Newburgh Road. The violation is occurring on a routine basis as the property is being used as overflow parking for events that are being held like every Friday or every other Friday at the produce stand. It's zone ASC 1. It is not authorized to be used for parking vehicles, any other accessory use. It's supposed to be pasture land. The reason why they're only cited is because they're the actual owner. The Lutz, the produce stand does not have any legal attachment to that lot, only the actual owner of the property. As I said, the property continues to be used as overflow parking for events. It's my understanding that the attorney for the violator has advised them to cease and desist any future events. They may or may not hold an additional event this month, but they've been advised to cease. If that happens, then the property should be in compliance if the event cease and it's not used for parking anymore. As I said in the previous case, I have maintained contact with all parties involved. I conducted my final inspection on 8/17 of 2020, and then photographs were taken by myself and by other code enforcement officers.
Hey, I have a question for officer. Hi, I'm not, okay, it's coming back and it just keeps going in and out. There seem to be many cars there. Do you have an estimate of how many cars were there?
Probably over 100.
Okay, and under, I believe it's under code enforcement that y'all are supposed to be monitoring the crowds for the COVID-19. When you have 100 cars, how many people do we have in this one location?
The size of the crowds vary, but it's been very large events, and according to the photographs on the previous case shown, you will see people that are not engaged in social distancing or other COVID safety precautions.
Okay, but you did not cite them for that, correct?
I did not.
Okay. All right. The respondent, what would you need to say, sir?
I submitted a letter asking them to cease and desist parking on the adjacent property, or if they were going to park on the property, they need to make sure that they get proper permitting to be able to do that. They could use the property, but only with the proper permitting. Other than that, they should not use the property for parking. It doesn't currently have a fence around it, so it's kind of hard to, to stop somebody from pulling on there and parking. But I sent the letter and told them, and they're supposed to pull the permit. I would think that would be a pretty simple permit to pull something for parking. I don't really know what to do at this point about that.
Okay. Well, one thing you could do is if they're on your property and you do not have a contract with them, you could actually contact a towing company and have them remove the vehicles as a private tow. That is just a suggestion. We'll move on to the board. Board members, do you have any questions? No questions? Okay. We need a motion.
I'm happy to make a motion.
Go ahead.
Based on the gravity and the signs of the pictures, I'll just clarify that that's why my motion is what it is. I move in case CE 200108859 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances with staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 7 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $350 per day be assessed.
Second by Mr. Bowling. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Sir, I don't know what to tell you to do other than to make sure they don't park cars there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next case, please.
Are there any other parties in here to testify? Does that finish the citizens who have signed in? Okay, and we have no one else online waiting?
We were never able to get a hold of Sean Floyd. He's not checked in.
I apologize. I apologize. We do have one more that I got late notice on. Case on page 5 of your agenda, number 10, case number CE 1901-9581. The owner is Ruth Ann Stevens. Location 10505 Bay Hills Circle. We have service. Who are they? Board member? Okay. I do apologize one more time. That's the last time, I promise. We do not have service on this case, and the parties who have signed in are not the owner. So this case has to be pulled for lack of service.
Okay.
And if someone could let those parties know that that's the situation. Okay, now let's go back to the beginning of the agenda. Page 1, number 1, case number CE 2000-2111. The owner is Myron Thomas and Billy Thomas. Location 4604 Holloway Road. We have service and no one is present.
Okay, let me read the let me read the instructions for when no one is present. Ms. Meyer?
What?
I need to read the instructions for when no one's present.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Seeing there's no one present in the audience for the remaining cases on the agenda, the board will now review the case material previously provided by county staff. And if this board finds the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. The board's ruling in each case will be based on the evidence presented, the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, the violator's history, be assessed. And what we're going to do here, because since we're not in our normal setting here, kind of a round robin making the motions. What we will do, since Mr. Lorenzen's happy to be here, we'll start with.
I like being first. You know that.
You're number one. Mr. Lorenzen will be first. Miss Boyd will be second. Mr. Yerbanka, if I'm saying that correct, would be third. Mr. Boland would be fourth. And Miss Clayton would be fifth. And then we'd start back up with Mr. Lorenzen. So kind of like put some little marks on your fingers or something so you'll know when it's your turn. Okay, unless there's questions on that. Miss Meyer, I am ready.
Okay, I'll call the first case again, page 1, number 1, CE 2000-2111. The owner is Myron Thomas and Billy Thomas, location 4604 Holloway Road. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning, Board. It's Code Officer Larry Hoffman. This case was started on February 12th of this year. The property is in foreclosure and it is owner occupied. The property has been cited for accumulations, overgrowth, pool barrier access gates, pool barrier gates openings, indentations, or protrusions, pool sanitation, and screens. I visited the property on 8/25, met with the owners, and the conditions remain the same. And that's why we're here today. So the property is in foreclosure. The owner has filed for bankruptcy a second time during this case. And I know he's had some health issues as well, but he was notified of the hearing today and he's not present.
Okay. Because of life safety, I'm going to do a two-part motion here. I move in case CE 2000-2111, the base of the evidence presented, I grant 3 days to come into compliance for items S13.2.1.11 pool barrier, item S13.2.1.5 pool barrier gaps, openings, indentations, and protrusions, and item S13.5 pool sanitation. That's 3 days, $500 per day. Second part of my motion is for the remaining items, item PM 12.1 accumulations, item PM 12.2 overgrowth, and item R11.7.10 screens, 14 days, $250 per day.
Second? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Who was the second, sir?
Yes. The second was Mr.
Yes.
I believe it was Mr. Bowling that did the second.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone need any clarification on days or fines?
Ready for the next case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, page 2, number 3, CE 2000-3079. The owner is Justin J. Eckernott and Michelle A. Eckernott. Location 3346 Fox Ridge Circle. We have service and no one is present.
Enforcement Officer Raquel Andahar. This case was generated On March 3rd, 2020, contact was made with the owner, Justin Ekternock, March 17, 2020, and August 25, 2020. My last inspection was August 25th. The owner did make some progress. I was able to comply stairs, porches, and appurtenance. Violations that remain are for overgrowth, accumulations, nuisance conditions for a dead tree, and protective treatment, primarily the wooden garage door. I do want to let the board members know there is a related case with fines running, case CE 18012294. Violations still remain.
Okay, Ms. Boyd.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I move in the case of CE 200030079. They come and grant them 2 weeks to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, an amount of $100 a day be assessed.
I think in this case, Ms. Boyd, you're going to have to do two separate motions, one for the nuisance conditions and protective treatment, and then a separate motion for the repeat violator.
I would agree. I'd like to amend that for item number PM 1123A, nuisance conditions. I'd like to change that to 3 days to come into compliance and $250 a day.
Okay, we also have repeat violations and the accumulations and the overgrowth.
For the repeat violations, I find that the property is again in violation of the Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation and of the previous order dated, I'm sorry, what was the date?
2/8/19.
2/8 of 2019. This constitutes a repeat violation as defined in the Florida statutes. Further, I grant 14 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 be assessed.
And the additional amount?
Pardon me?
And additionally, at the bottom of the repeat violation motion, the additional fine for future repeat.
Oh, I'm sorry. And an additional $500 a day for a repeat violation.
Okay, so just to clarify, I'll second that motion for a purpose of discussion. Just to clarify, that's item PM 12.3.A nuisance and R11.7.3 protective treatment, 3 days at $250 a day. And then for the repeat violations with the repeat violation date 2/8/19 for 12.1 and 12.2, it's 14 days and $500 a day?
Correct.
Or I'm sorry, 14 days, $250 a day, and then additional violations are $500 per day.
Yes, that's correct.
Got it. Yes, I second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
Recording secretary, are you okay with that?
Because there was opposed.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Bordenaro,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Urbania, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
And Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7-0.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, 6-0.
Next case.
Okay, I just want to clarify the record on that motion to make sure we're all on the same page, and I apologize. The first part is going to be for the nuisance conditions and protective treatment, 3 days, $250 a day. Part 2 will be accumulations and overgrowth, 14 days, $250 a day, and they are repeat violations, and $500 a day per occurrence for future violations. Do I have that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next case is on page 3, number 6, case number CE 2000-2099. The owner is E.P. Josephson and Ann Josephson. Location 6420 North Gomez Avenue. We have service and no one is present.
Officer, go ahead.
Good morning, John Carey on Hillsborough County Code Enforcement, and may it please the board. The property in question is located on 6420 North Gomez Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33614. Property is owned by Eric Josephson and Ann Josephson. Property is not in foreclosure and is owner occupied. The property was first inspected February 13th, 2020. The initial inspection revealed 3 violations, which consisted of accumulations, outside open storage, and inoperable vehicles. Inoperable vehicles was complied May 5th. Accumulations is a repeat violation of board order dated July 17th, 2018. The case was referred for CEB hearing March 2nd, 2020. I performed a pre-hearing inspection on May 6th, at which point it was revealed that the rear yard had additional significant amounts of junk trash debris and materials being openly stored. Due to hearing reschedule, I performed another pre-hearing inspection and final site visit on August 14th, 2020, which revealed that said property remains under the same conditions as is being presented to this board. Photographs were taken at that time for this hearing. Also, the respondent shared interest to attend virtually. However, respondent was unaware that there was that they had to pre-register by a certain time, so they were unable to attend. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. You Frank?
Urbaniak, yes, sir.
Okay, it's your.
This is my first meeting, so I'm gonna Susan has sent me the information as far as making a motion, but I would like to move in the case CE 2000-2099, the repeat accumulations as well as the outside open storage that we assign as assess a fine of $250 per day. And I think, is that 2 separate items or is that just one?
So for the purpose of, because one is repeat and one is not repeat, you'll have to do 2 separate motions. One using the initial violation, and then there's a section at the bottom for making a motion for repeat violation, which allows us to add a fine for future violations on that particular line item.
Okay, so for the initial violation in case CE 2000-2099, it says a fine of $250 per day. They have I would give them 7 days to become in compliance. Otherwise, it'd be $250 per day. And then the repeat violation of the accumulations, the same fine of $250 per day.
Okay, you're gonna have to read at the bottom for the repeat violation. Bottom of the page.
And that's the one repeat violation commences from first inspection date?
Correct.
Okay, all right, I can do that.
The one.
Gotcha. I'm reading it on my phone, so I apologize.
I'll find it for you, hold on.
I move in case number CE 2000-2099, that based on the evidence presented, find that the property is again in violation of Hillsborough County or ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation and the previous orders. This constitutes a repeat violation as defined in the Florida statutes. Further, I order that a fine of $250 per day commence as of the date of inspection. The date of the inspection when the violations were found still exists. Additionally, a fine of $250 per day per occurrence be assessed for any future violations of this order. I think I got it.
I just
think for the record,
clarify
you
something
probably-
on the repeat violation. First of all, the order date on that is July 17, 2018. And the fine cannot start as of the day of the inspection because it is just now being declared a repeat violation. So on the first, the part with, for the accumulations, you'll need to give some, whatever time you think is appropriate for compliance.
Okay. On the accumulations, I'm recommending 15 days for compliance.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Johnson.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. I have a question for Ms. Murphy.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, I had my phone charging. Okay, what is your question?
My question is, we keep cutting in and out on some of these things, and it's hard for the stenographer to hear all of us. Can I just say all opposed and leave out the, those that are in favor? And then that way we're only listening for somebody who may be opposed. Or do we have to go through the whole speech?
Well, I think under Robert Rules of Order, you just have to take the vote. I think, you tell the people, I guess the ones that are in opposition, I think you have to name them. Let me ask the court reporter. Are you here?
Yes,
Are you here? Okay.
Yes,
now,
I'm here and I can hear you. What we've done in the past is if everybody votes unanimously for the item, then we do not need to do a roll call. The only time that we need to do a roll call is if somebody is opposed to the item.
Okay. So as far as the recording, you're recording this meeting, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm recording this meeting, and then once we've completed the minutes and everything, then it will go to the board for their final approval.
Okay. Are you having any issues with not being able to hear, I guess, some of the votes? Are you able to capture that?
I am able to hear all the votes. The one that I did a roll call vote on, it sounded like there was a no in there, and that's why I asked for the roll call vote.
Okay, so it sounds like she's able to capture pretty much what's going on. So like she said, if everybody's in agreement, no need for a roll call. If there's some confusion as to whether it carried or not carried, then I think you have to then do your roll call.
Okay.
Am I right?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
All right.
There you go.
Yep, thank you. Next case, please.
Page 4, number 8, case number CE 2000-4790. The owner is Mai Nyok Tai Hyun. Location 3221 West Clifton Street. We have service and no one is present.
Good morning, John Karen, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. The property in question is located on 3221 West Clifton Street, Tampa, Florida 33614. The property is owned by Quinn Mai Nok Tai and is tenant occupied. The property is not in foreclosure. The property was first inspected April 7th, 2020. The initial inspection revealed one violation, which consisted of nuisance conditions. Nuisance conditions was cited due to overflow of gray water from septic tank located in the front yard. This property was previously cited over the same occurrence of overflow of gray water from the septic tank located on the front yard dated 12/10/2019 under case number CE 1901-9440. That case was complied December 31st, 2020. I am respectfully requesting a remaining compliance be granted for nuisance conditions.
Okay, any questions? All right, Mr. Boland, it's your turn to make a motion.
I have a question. Sorry,
Certainly,
Mr.
go
Chairman.
ahead.
This is listed on our agenda as a remain in compliance, but testimony from the officer was this is a repeat violator requesting stay in compliance, citing a case.
Violator because there were no previous board orders. The previous case was closed when it came into compliance. It was never brought before the board.
Okay, so not a repeat violator.
It's not. It will.
It will be next time around. Understand. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Boland. Mr. Boland still with us?
Hello?
Go ahead,
Hello?
Mr. Boland.
Yes. You need to make your motion, sir?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's my question? Is it in compliance or not in compliance? Now.
It is in compliance now.
Okay.
Right, so all we need is a remaining compliance order.
All right, I move in case number, I wasn't sure you could hear me or not. I move in case number CE 2000479. Based on evidence presented, I find that the property was in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances presented. I find that the property now is in compliance with this code provision in order that it remain in compliance with this code provision.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next case, please.
Page 5, number 9, case number CE 1901-8804. Charlene Price. This case is pulled for lack of service. And number 10, we already heard, was pulled for lack of service. Next case then will be on page 6, number 11, case number CE 2000-0228. The owner is Charles Adams, location 3804 North 58th Street. We have service and no one is present.
Officer, go ahead.
Paul Rowan with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I first visited this property on January 9th of this year. This has been a nuisance property in the neighborhood that has basically not changed in the entire time I've been inspecting the case. They have accumulations, they have overgrowth, they have inoperable vehicles. The photos really speak for everything that's going on there, and they have outside open storage. The only time I ever spoke to the actual occupant of the property was during the service of the hearing notice. He said he's been working on it. The pastor of the church from across the street has actually been helping him to the point of cutting some of the overgrowth, but it just has not gotten to the point where it needs to be. It's really just one of my worst nuisance properties in this entire neighborhood. There are unfortunately no life safety issues at this point.
Okay.
Question?
Go ahead.
I apologize. Just a couple of things I wanted to add that are kind of important. The property taxes on this have not been paid since 2017, but the home is not in foreclosure. And surprisingly, there is no history on this property either.
Okay, Ms. Clayton.
Yes, question, Mr. Rowan, how many inoperable vehicles are there? Can you tell?
I didn't understand the question.
How many inoperable vehicles are there on the property?
How many inoperable vehicles are on the property right
Oh, approximately 4 to 5. RV, I know there's a van, a truck, and a car, if I remember correctly.
Okay, thank you. I move in case CE 200000228 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 15 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $200 a day be assessed.
Second.
Second by who?
Mike
Mr. Boland.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next case.
Anthony,
Yes.
I got a question.
Sure.
Yeah, are we doing the short version, the no one present motions? Or are we
Yes,
still
we
doing
are.
Okay.
Yes.
Aye.
You should have gotten an email with all of them.
Yeah, no, I got it. No one.
Okay, good deal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next case, please.
Page 6, number 12, CE 2000-1050. This case is pulled for lack of service. Page 7, number 13, CE 2000-1062. The owner is Thomas J. Terry, 9402 Ripley Road. We have service and no one is present.
Hey,
Hillsborough
officer.
County Code Enforcement. First visited this case on January 23rd of this year during a routine sweep of this neighborhood to try to get it cleaned up. The gentleman here was initially cited for accumulations, improper use of zone, outside open storage, and exceeding the number of recreational utility vehicles allowed on the property. His son was doing car repair in the front, and he has ceased to do that at this point. So that is why the improper use of zone has been removed. He's removed a couple of the vehicles. A lot of the inoperable vehicles were related to the business he was doing before. He has cleaned up a little bit, but it got to a point where he just stopped cleaning up and basically just moved some of the inoperable vehicles around. The outside open storage is also related to a cargo container on the property that you can see in the photographs. He has not obtained any kind of permitting or pursued any kind of permitting to allow that. It's not allowed on the type of property that he has. This case, this parcel is only 0.5 acres, 0.5 of an 0.85 of an acre and is zoned agricultural rural. It is homesteaded. The property taxes are paid. It is not in foreclosure. There are 3 previous cases, 2005 and 2014, and an unfounded case in 2017. The property use for this property is single-family residential. The owner did bring up with me at the time that he was greenbackered into this, and I didn't find anything to that effect, that he was actually allowed to do what he was talking about. I tried to explain the differences. He's an elderly gentleman, and I thought he would actually appear today and talk about this case, but apparently he didn't. There are no life safety issues going on.
Okay.
You mentioned that it was repeats. Is there a reason we're not going for any type of repeat violation here where the case is not completed, Susan, or are we missing why they're not listed that way?
It's the same situation as the previous one. None of the prior cases were brought for a hearing, so there is no previous order date.
Just trying to confirm. Thank you. I move in case CE 200010062, based on the evidence presented, I grant 30 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Who was the second, sir?
Yes, it was Miss Boyd.
Ms. Boyd?
Thank you.
This is number 14, CE 2000-1127. This case is pulled for lack of service. Page 8, number 15, CE 2000-1742. This case is pulled for lack of service. Number 16, CE 2000-1753. This case is pulled for lack of service. Page 9, number 17, CE 2000-2295. This case is pulled for lack of service. Number 18, CE 2000-2828. The owner is Paradise Village MHC LLC. Location 9304 Paradise Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Paul Rowan with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I first inspected this property on February 27th of this year. This is a repeat violation for fences only. This particular mobile home park has had quite a history with us over the past several years, especially in the last couple of years. Let's see, property taxes are paid. It is not in foreclosure. The property owner has multiple previous cases, and I'm talking in excess of 20 with us for different violations. I was involved in the last case with fences, which was case number CE 1800607 with a board order dated on August 25th of 2018. I've had multiple discussions with the property manager, which changed since the last case. The new property manager was actually planning on being virtually on today. He texted me this morning that he had a family issue and he wasn't going to be able to be on. The fence is currently complied, but at this particular point, I think we're just seeking a per occurrence order. This violation, because of the way the fence is set up, this mobile home park has, I want to guess, 500 plus mobile homes. It's huge. We weren't able to inspect the entire property. We cited what the citizen complained about, which is this section of fence that's in the photographs. They have repaired it at this point, but because of this particular property owner's history, we're seeking a per occurrence order.
Okay, Ms. Boyd?
Okay, let me try that again. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So are we, if I understand correctly, are we doing a repeat violation or just an order to stay in compliance or an additional fine for a violation, a repeat violation?
Well, if I understand the case correctly, I think what you're looking for is the one that is called order to stay in compliance repeat violation. That'd be for a case that came into compliance, but is a repeat violator. Is that correct?
Oh.
Violator,
Okay.
yes, that you can do an order for a per occurrence fine for future violations.
Yeah, so it'd be the order to stay in compliance repeat violation on your motion form.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So in case number CE 200028828, I find that the property was in violation.
Hold on. I apologize. It will be a repeat violator after we hear this hearing, so we can't do a per occurrence. Wait a minute.
We do have.
Right. We don't need the remaining compliance. We only need the per occurrence violations.
Right. So it's still the same motion. It's the order to stay in compliance repeat violation for cases that came into compliance but are repeat violations. So she would move, list the previous order date, and then add the additional fine per occurrence.
Yeah, that'll work.
The third one down, Ms. Boyd. You're muted.
So that would be the repeat violation.
Order to stay in compliance, repeat violation. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in a case number CE 200002828, I find that the property is again in violation of Hillsborough County Court ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation, and previous order dated August 25th of 2018. This constitutes a repeat violation as defined in Florida statutes. Further, I grant 7 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $500 per day be assessed.
Compliance now.
Yeah, we were close there. It's the one right above that. So
Okay.
you'd find the property is in compliance and then add the additional fine per occurrence.
Gotcha. So let me repeat that then. I find that the property was in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance as presented. Further, I find that the property is now in compliance with this code provision in order that it remain in compliance with this code provision. Additionally, a fine of $500 per day per occurrence be imposed for any repeat violation after compliance is achieved.
Second, yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Turn to page 10, number 19, CE 2000-3165. This case is pulled for lack of service. Number 20, CE 2000-3259. This case is pulled for lack of service. Page 11, number 21, CE 2000-4441. This case is pulled for lack of service. And that concludes the agenda.
Okay, do we have any questions? Okay. Mr. Eubanky? Mark?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
just Mark is fine.
Yeah, well, just to let you know, when Mr. Lorenzen came aboard, I gave him the name Lorenzen because I couldn't, say his name. So I just put him in the WICSAC program with a new name.
Yeah, I was Lorenzo for a long time, so it was good. Alter ego.
We'll probably do that with you as well. Okay.
That's fine.
All right, welcome to the board. Anybody
Thank you,
else
guys.
have any other comments? Ms. Meyer, I don't have a gavel, but we are adjourned.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.